The United States have advanced to the quarterfinals of the Olympic tournament after defeating Guinea, back-to-back wins, convincing wins after their opening defeat to the French at the Velodrome in front of a packed house, a lot of emotions. They beat New Zealand, they beat Guinea, and this is the point of the tournament where we reach saying this was the expectation, right? If anything less would be a disappointment, anything more would be a bonus. I mean, we could say this team, now that we see them, they've looked really impressive. That maybe the expectations would be a little bit further, but I think that would be insincere since we haven't been in the Olympics in 16 years. So we haven't medaled. Sorry, I didn't mean to be abrupt, but I just want us to be realistic. And I think most people are in agreement with me, right? This was the expectation. So if they lose in the quarterfinal matchup to Morocco, they met expectations, which is something, a threshold we have to cross over. Expectations have to change. We have to have expectations that demand us to make the medal round in the Olympics or make a quarterfinal at a World Cup. Those kind of things that we hope are in progress. We hope maybe have happened already. They have not. We have taken a few step backs with our national team, and this is an under-23 side by and large, and we are looking at a team that will incorporate into the senior team at some point. But it's a good day, all right? I don't want to bog us down with minutia. This is a good day that the U.S. were able to do what they were able to do. And today on the Soccer OG, check out the Soccer OG podcast where all podcasts are available. We'll get a new one out this week. Very excited about the Olympics and so many other topics. The European League's about to kick back in a couple weeks. Like and subscribe us here. Hit that like button. Smash it so we can do more videos. If I see, I'm doing videos, been great, really wonderful to communicate with you. I'll get back to your comments, but do it. But as I was rudely interrupted, what are we talking today on the Soccer OG? Can the United States medal? I think they can. I think what we have seen suggests they can. This is the draw, and they got somewhat fortunate. They avoided Argentina. Morocco finishes first in the group, Argentina second. And remember, they had that crazy game, which was delayed 2 hours before a VAR decision, that Argentina got the result, and then eventually Morocco did. But that's a win for Morocco, and you got to take that for face value. And we'll talk about Morocco a little bit, this team and it as a program, and why it would be a huge win for the United States if they can get by the Morocco on Friday, August the 2nd at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Hey, Olympics, bud. You did me a solid with these late kickoffs. 10 a.m. Pacific, noon Pacific. Now 6 a.m.? I can't get up that early. I can't get up that... Anyway, we'll manage. We'll get up. We're definitely watching that game because we're very excited. Can the United States win it? Yes. And the best way for them to medal is you've just got to beat Morocco. And then you get to the semifinals, you have 2 shots. I don't expect the United States to get a gold. I mean, I'm locked in on that bronze. I am locked in because if they beat Morocco, they'll probably face Spain. And Spain is men and women's the best soccer program on the planet. So for them to beat Morocco and Spain would be an achievement. We're talking about cloud cuckoo land at this point. This is a nice team. They've performed well, but that would be crazy. And then if they can get to a gold medal match, you'd face France or Argentina. But I want to be very clear about the Olympics, and we've seen this in the past. It's not always the teams that you expect winning it. That's why I like the Guinea win. To beat an African teams are really good at the Olympics. You know, Nigeria and Cameroon have won this. I think Egypt has a shot on the other side of the bracket. So don't underestimate. And that's a good win for the U.S. And it could be Egypt. It could be Morocco. I'm telling you, these African teams at the Olympics are good. So Guinea was a good victory. And they're going to face another African team. But Morocco is almost a European team. I guess I could talk about them now. We'll get into the U.S. team here shortly. But Morocco is a program that made the World Cup semifinals in 2022, and that is, they have reset a standard. They're always going to make World Cups, I would imagine. They're always going to compete. They're going to win African Cups of Nations. This is a superior program. It's going to become the best, probably, program in Africa because of the pipeline to the dual nationals, to the French players with Moroccan lineage, of which made up the majority of that 2022 World Cup team. This team in the Paris Olympics has Achraf Hakimi as one of their 3 over 23 players. He is best at his position, many would say. The other two, I mean, the one that's interesting is Munir Mohammedi, who is the goalkeeper, and I think bringing an overage goalkeeper is not a bad move, considering penalties should be on offer here at some point, now that we're at the knockouts. So I like that, but it wasn't outside of Hakimi, it wasn't this crazy, for the players they could have called in. You know, Morocco is a tough team to crack on the senior level, and certainly here. This would be huge for their program, so they are going to be coming out. They are going to be the favorites against the United States. They deserve to be favorites. If the U.S. beats Morocco, it would be an upset, but it would be a huge lift for this program. And these kids certainly are aware of that. And I think they are up to the task. We've always seen the U.S., whether it's under 20 World Cups or under 17 World Cups, get to this stage and never get through. And it's probably going to happen here again. But we'll see. They got a good rugby. Look, I don't think you want to play Argentina. So they got a little lucky there because Argentina is just much like Spain navigating through these tournaments. All the focus on Morocco. Even though you'll have a semifinal game 3-4 days, put your core players to the bone in this one, because if you get to the semis, you get 2 chances for a medal. And that would be a huge, huge uplifting for the program situation for the United States. Whew, I'm excited. Look, whatever happens, we have Friday together. We get to enjoy this. As for the team, the 11 that was put out there, this is what it looked like. Some changes indeed. Miles Robinson in particular. And who am I forgetting? Gianluca Busio, who picked up an injury, was out as well. And the other third big name, Duncan McGuire. And that opened the door for Paxton Aronson and Griffin Yow to combine at the top. And that looked great. If you watch the New Zealand game and this Guinea game, we saw an enterprising style from this U.S. team that you don't see. It was really entertaining. Beautiful football. Taka, taka, tiki, tiki, taka, whatever you want to call it. Great goals. And, you know, Griffin Yow certainly would be hard to pull out of the 11 at this point. Whether it's for McGuire, whether Busio comes back. I like this 11 as is. I think you run with it. Maybe get Miles Robinson back in for Maximilian Deitz. But Deitz played very well. Clean sheet for the U.S. And remember, once they took that early 2-goal lead, they played a lower block and allowed Guinea to get some chances. So the defense held very firm. This team, I want to give a shout out to some of these MLS academies, because Kevin Paredes, who scored 2 goals, the star of this match, and Griffin Yow are DC United products from that part, the Beltway, Virginia, Maryland area. Virginia, I think they're both from Virginia. Fantastic. You got the Philadelphia Union Academy with Paxton Aronson and Jack McGlynn. By the way, this is what we said about this Olympics. These players are in the shop window. There's a big transfer rumor for McGlynn in Europe and John Tolkien. So we're going to see this. And Paredes might make an upgrade from his Wolfsburg team and many other guys. Griffin Yow plays at Westerlo with Belgium. I mean, he looks like a talent that should be playing in a bigger league, just 21 years of age. I like Griffin Yow a lot. He has that Christian Pulisic vibe, right? He can dribble, and we don't have Paredes on the other side too. We were worried about wing depth for this team because, remember, we had Pulisic and Weah, and we didn't know who to bring in there. So in the senior team, we bring in Haji Wright. Paredes and Yow show that these are guys that we can groom for the future. They're not ready yet. Paredes is getting there, but they're not ready yet. But at least we have those pieces in place. And, you know, I've been critical of the Olympics, I know. But now that the U.S. are at this stage, we can see the value of this tournament for certain players. And that is a valuable practice. So I'm happy that that is in place for a variety of these players. Excuse me. So I think that Morocco is going to push Aronson around. Paredes and Yow, it's a small trio up front. So they're going to have to throw whatever weight they have around. That's the beauty of McGuire, who can hold the play up, and there's the value of having a number 9. I wish Ricardo Pepi agreed to come to this team, because I think at this point I'd feel so much better about the U.S.'s prospects for a medal if he was part of this. I will say that the United States has done very well with regards to the overaged players, right? No issues here for me. The two defenders have been good. The defense has been good, with the exception of 20 minutes against France. And Georgi Mihalovich has been sensational. Do you want to argue that about? Does anyone want to argue with me about that? Georgi Mihalovich has been involved in 3 goals. The corner kick on the, I can't remember whose goal now it was, but it was the corner kick there against New Zealand. Set piece penalty. Penalties are penalties, I know, but he converted his. And then he had this free kick. It's one of the best free kicks an American has scored in a major competition, as far as I can remember. A beautiful free kick. Highlight reel free kick. Constantly involved. He pulled him out. Marko Mitrovic pulled him out because I think he's going to save them. Georgi Mihalovich is probably our most important player in many ways. I hope we can stop picking on him. I hope that ends here. Everyone saw and said this is an important player who brings a lot to the table, and the set-piece goal he scored. Imagine he scored that goal against France. I'm not going to sit here and argue. I think we're not all in agreement. I know that. But Georgi Mihalovich deserves our respect, and he is earning it whether we give it to him or not, and I don't think he really cares. But he and Tanner Tessman have made a great partnership. Tessman we don't give enough pub to because he's so steady and you don't really hear his name, but people don't go his way. I think he is going to be the biggest key against Morocco. Morocco's not, that's where we have a huge edge. He is going to gobble these guys up. I don't think Morocco have scored goals. They scored a couple goals against Argentina. They scored 3 goals against Iraq, and then they lost to Ukraine. They scored a goal. But it's going to be hard to crack this U.S. team. And they were very stingy in these last 2 games. And they got hold of the ball. And I'd love to see them play a more possession-based game against Morocco. I think that's their best chance. But I think Morocco will let them. So the Mihalovich and Tessman, that little engine room will get it going. It's been exceptional. The attacking pieces. I like the fullbacks too. Harriel's been solid. Tolkien's been solid. The bench has been good. When you bring in McGlynn and others to come in and wrap it up, it's thinned out a bit because no Busio. That's not great. We need that. They did bring in Josh Atencio to replace, I should say, Busio's out for the competition. I think I said he was going to come back. That's incorrect. Josh Atencio is in there, and now he actually played a little bit. So we got some depth pieces there, and it's not the biggest strength, but it's not the worst in this tournament. But that core group is healthy and ready to go. We'll see if they can do it Friday. I'm predicting a 1-0 win over Morocco, and we'll see where it goes. But stock soaring on Paredes, stock soaring on Yow, Tanner Tessman, 3 players there that I think we could say 2026 rolls around, guys that are going to put their hand up. And I'd put Mihalovich in there too, because I said he was... I said he's the best set-piece taker we have. It's not Christian Pulisic. We can agree with it. You can argue that it's Gio Reyna. He's better than Gio Reyna. He does so much more from set pieces. Now, the problem with Mihalovich is who do you bring him in on that midfield? You can't sit any of those guys. But this is a warning for a guy like Malik Tillman. You got to bring it. Or maybe Luca Della Torre is, not that he has played badly, but it's a guy that you can cover with other midfielders, that maybe Mihalovich comes in there. But he also has to deal with Tanner Tessman in those midfields, because I think Tanner Tessman is going to be a 2026 name to remember. But we're not going to get ahead of ourselves. We're happy about what this is. Enjoy it Friday. USA Network, Peacock. Peacock has been knocking it out of the park with their Olympic coverage. I want to say that. We'll be back here to wrap it up. Hopefully get ready for the medal rounds after that.